Happy Friday. Thank you for watching, for joining me. I've got a very special treat in store for you today. We have an amazing guest on the Manifest Her Media podcast. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of the places except Instagram, but we'll bring it over there later. I'm your host for today, Quadira, the Power TR, just in case you didn't know. And yes, my background is a little different because I'm streaming live from LA in our retreat house for the weekend with my amazing partner and CEO business bestie. She's over there in the corner. She might come through in a second. Make sure you don't come over here with that. Okay. You know, you got to look out for your sisters because I knew she may have forgotten, but anyway. Okay, so we are live and I'm so excited. We're going to do all the things before we get started. You guys know how much I love my intro. Let's go. Our guest is here.
Hello.
We have an amazing guest today. Her beautiful face has already graced us on the screen. Her name is Tollisha Joseph, and she is a lot of great things, but in today's conversation, she is a networking strategist. She is a keynote speaker. She is the official glue. Let's give Tollisha Joseph a round of applause. Woo, you can add in this.
I love that. I love the spirit. A round of applause.
Thank you so much for being here. How's your day going?
Oh, thank you for having me, first off, because I'm telling you, I have been waiting for this moment to be live on LinkedIn. So this is a celebration. I should have some of that amazing wine to pop to celebrate this moment, this gracious occasion. So I want to say thank you for extending your audience to me. It really is an honor. And my day has been going great. It's been one of those days, a 15-minute delay has delayed me all day, but I've found purpose in the delay today because I've had some really amazing conversations today.
Wow. That's so good. It's nothing like conversations to lift you up and take you higher. I don't distract. It's nothing like a conversation to lift you up and lift you higher. And I find myself very lifted after a day of really connecting with people. Sometimes you got to sit in your office or in your home space, do your work, and that can be kind of lonely sometimes. But when you're out there connecting with people or on a Zoom or something, I feel like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's very energetic. It really does give you life. It gives you life. Connection gives you life. And especially when you do it for purpose, when you have a purpose for the connection and you feel like you've gained something from it, it could be life-giving. So I know that a lot of people struggle with networking because they feel like it's life-sucking. It's like just draining everything out of them. But when you realize that there's a strategy to it and you can optimize it and create it so that it is life-giving, you find joy in it and you're willing to be flexible.
Yeah. I love that you say there's a strategy to it, right? And I remember when I first started my business 11 years, even entered into the business world for myself because I had my parents who had their own business and groomed me in that way. But when I got into business for myself, I had to figure out how to get out there and meet people and get new clients and all of that stuff. And at first I kind of was networking with no game plan, being upset about the outcomes, and then I discovered it was a strategy. So there was a strategy to it. So what would you say is one or, some of the strategies you share with the people you work with?
Well, there's one overarching strategy that needs to be given first, and that is going into networking situations with your business mindset. Really going in there with the business mindset. Where I think people really kind of don't do a great job at this is that they go in with their personal mindset. They go in thinking about, how can I advance personally? How can I make new friends? How can I make connections? I just want to meet people. I just want to meet people. And although that is great energy to bring to the table, it's not the most effective energy to bring to the table, because you're going
Yeah,
to go in feeling like you want to meet people, and that's exactly what you're going to get out. You're going to meet people, but no conversions are going to happen.
right. Yeah, no conversion is happening. Um, because one of the things that you and I talked about before is that you actually have to know your message. And when you're just starting out, you kind of don't know the things that you need to know. And so you go in and you're talking to people, and, it's not really coming across clearly, you know. And I remember my first networking event. I was in a room with all of these people. None of these people were my clients, Tollisha. None of them. But I heard the word networking, and I just ran into the room. And I mean, I wouldn't do that today. It was a complete waste of my time. I mean, not a complete waste of my time, because it helped me, fail, as they say, or fall on my face in order to know, okay, won't do that again. What are some of the common things that you see with entrepreneurs, people in business, even leaders of companies, or even employees in companies? What are some of the mistakes you see them making when it comes to networking?
The number one mistake I see people make when it comes to networking is believing that the person that is in front of you is your ideal, like, or trying to get them to be that. And we have to go into networking understanding that the people that are at these events are really not looking for to become business partners. They're not looking for that. Honestly, networking events are sales events. They're events that are
Yeah.
set up for you to meet more people, to learn about their product, their service, and they're looking for you to help them advocate for that. That's what the intention of networking is for. But we go into the event thinking that we're going to get clients out of it. And how many times have you been to a networking event and transferred somebody into an actual client? Probably none, because clients don't live at networking events. People, advocates, live at networking events. So the one thing that I could say is that we don't set up our messaging to advocate for us and transfer out of that event. So that is one of the things that I think people are making mistakes when they build out their message. They're not building it with transferable qualities. They're not saying, how does this thing that I'm going to share in this networking event that is really full of other salespeople, how am I going to get them to sell me? And that's what you need to
Yeah.
be focusing on when you're at a networking event.
That really blew me away when you shared that with me previously, when you said, going into a networking event, believing that you're going to meet someone that is going to be the client is a misconception. And then you just drop some new knowledge, some new wisdom on me right now, with saying that it's actually a sales opportunity. I've never looked at it in that way. And I really like that, because I really love sales. I love conversing with people, telling them about the business, telling them how it can work for them or someone that they know, whatever business it is, right? And hearing who they think they can match me up with, things like that. So that is a really, really, really awesome perspective to have. Now, I talk a lot about entrepreneurs, women in business, but I'm curious, is there a different networking strategy for people working corporate that you offer?
I don't think that the strategies are different. I think it's a matter of, when you're in corporate America, you're selling someone else's message. You're going as a representative of that business. So you kind of are geared up with the correct verbiage, maybe, but the way you're positioning it in the networking event might be off. So it's about positioning. How are you positioning yourself as the best representation of the business that you're representing? And I think with entrepreneurs, it's really hard to get into that space because we haven't really decided that we want to be the representative of our own business. Like, we haven't put ourselves in that ambassador seat. So when we get into networking events, we're showing up as Tollisha Joseph, like the fun girl who just loves to talk and, oh my God, I can have conversations with anybody. But no, when I'm going to a networking event, I'm showing up as the representative of the official glue, my business. And I'm putting on
Mm,
that hat and I'm telling
mhm.
people about that. So I am being an employee for my own business at that moment. But in corporate America, I think the one thing that really breaks the networking for that entity is that they're not equipping their employees with the messaging. They're not telling them what to say when they go into these events. I've been to so many networking groups like BNIs and Toastmasters, and man, the list goes on and on and on. And they have these segments where the members get up and they present to
Right.
the members because it's a sales floor, right? But the one thing that I realize is the ones who are representing their own business probably do a better job, not the best job, but a better job at presenting themselves than the ones who are representing someone else's business because they don't know what to say. They don't know how to translate that message so that somebody listening can start thinking instantly like, "Ooh, I heard that. I know somebody. Ooh, I want to connect you with this person. I want to give you to that person." The idea is for us to share ideas that people can connect to and want to usher out. They want to just instantaneously say, "Oh my God, I know somebody who definitely needs what you said. I heard that word or sentence or
Right.
phrase that makes me think of somebody right now who you need to be in community with." That's the
Mhm.
idea. But I don't think they're equipping them with the right messaging.
Okay, this just got really good because I heard some voices in my head as you were talking. Okay, so I got two things I want to say. I'm so excited about them. Woo! All right, so first thing, or this is the second thing, but the other thing is so good, I'm gonna save it for last. So the second thing I heard was whenever I tell people the name of my company, I say manifest her. I can't even get to the media part before they're like, oh. So when I tell them the name of Manifester Media, it's usually women, and they're usually like, "Oh, what is that? Tell me more." And so I share with them that Manifest Her Media is about helping and teaching women how to get seen, heard, and paid doing what they're most passionate about. But then as you were speaking, I heard a voice say, because of all the things you were saying, I heard a voice say, maybe you should actually switch that to helping and teaching women in business how to get seen, heard, and paid selling what they're most passionate about. Do you have any
Mm.
thoughts about that?
So I think there is a strategy in creating a message that actually will convert for you. And
Hmm.
when we think about conversions, we think about turning the message into money. And one thing I must share is that your message will never turn into money. Like, it's not going
Hmm.
to do that. The thing that your message does for you is it creates interest or curiosity, right? So I am either more interested in what you have to say, and it will convert into a full blown conversation so we can expand on those ideas. And that is when the conversion happened in the expansion, right? You need me to want to sit with you so you can go deeper into those ideas. So the message will never turn into money. But what you need to do is start to incorporate your ideal client character into your messaging. So, one of the things that I love to kind of reference when talking about this is, when you remember that childhood game Mad Libs.
Yes.
So think about your message like that. And, you have these little phrases like, to, the, be, the transitional words that you could put in your message. But in Mad Libs, they tell you, okay, fill in the noun, fill in the verb, fill in the adjective, and we make stories with the message. But, the object of that game is so that your message doesn't make any sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So applying that Mad Lib activity to your messaging and really thinking about who was your first yes, who told you yes first, who was that person, what did they look like, what did they say to you, and taking the adjectives, the descriptive words that really describe that ideal client that you have, not
Yeah.
client s plural, the one that you want to duplicate over and over
Mm.
and over and over again, taking those words, and now we're going to inject those words into
Mm.
your message, and then we're going to put the fillers where they need to be, and boom, sticky quality.
I'm feeling that. Like that was, I really, ooh, that is so good. I really felt that on a deeper level than ever before because you brought it out of the plural and you put it into the one. Because that comes back to like manifestor isms, right? And all of the mindfulness strategies and things we talk about in the world. But what you're asking, what I heard you asking us to do is to become present with who's in front of us, who we want to be in front of us, become present with the message, become present with what it is that we're offering, that we are doing, that we're creating, that we're selling, the opportunity, the problem we're solving, but become present and focus in on that one instead of all. And then make that repeatable. And that's what I share when it comes to like business strategies. It's about making your process repeatable, and that's the same thing you're asking me to do in my messaging.
Yes, because the idea, remember, the message is never going to turn into money. So people think,
Mm,
if I have this money making message, the message is not going to turn into money. It's the transferability of the message that makes the money. How well is your message transferring from person to person to person to person? Because the idea is to make that message so sticky that it transfers and it never loses its sticky essence, the superpower of stickiness. Like,
yeah.
it never loses its elasticity. It stays in good context as it moves through people, which allows it to get through people quickly. It doesn't break down as it's flowing through. So you
Mhm.
need it to stay intact. So how
Right.
can you make your message stay intact? Is that you make it very tacky. You make it sticky. You make it so that it can stick to the person that is saying it, and it can stick to that person. So when we're thinking about messaging, we want to make sure that we get our sticky words and we put them in, because those are the words that, no matter what, those are the words that are going to be at the top of mind all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, they're going to be at the top of mind. I might not remember your name. I might not remember the name of your business, but I remember that you manifest, right? And as I'm sharing your message, I'm going to share, I know somebody who's a manifester, right?
Hey, I like
That's
that.
it, right? And that's all that really needs to move. So it's about the compounding of sticky. How
Yeah.
many words can you put in this message that can move and be very, very sticky as they're going along and don't lose their elasticity?
This is so good. Okay, so Talisha, we are here in Los Angeles for this Oscars inspired weekend. And my business partner and I, Tanya, Philip Yali, over at K Marine Wines, and myself at Manifest Her Media, we've come together for a pop up retreat series titled Rich and Recognized. And so, Rich and Recognized is about helping women in business tap into their wealthy self and really create that space where you can tap into your wealthy self, feel all the wealth, see all the wealth, touch all the wealth, do all of whatever makes you feel wealthy, right? It's not the same for every person. Um, so we're here in Los Angeles this weekend because K Marine Wines got invited to be the official wine sponsors of an Oscars after party, the fourth annual Griot Gala.
Love that.
And thank you. And so we're here and we are going to be in a room full of, you know, who's right. What we've been informed is that it'll be A-list celebrities, hosted by Cedric the Entertainer. They're what are they doing? They are paying tribute to Felicia Rashad, everybody's favorite mama from the Cosby Show, and Cheech Marin, and there's one more person that I don't remember. So as we are entering into this space where we will be surrounded by all of these people and have been blessed with this amazing opportunity to showcase the wonderful work that K Marine Wines is doing in the lives of women. Do you have any tips, any ideas for us? This is what excited me. I was like, hold on, I got an official networking strategist on the line right now. Let me ask, what do you think, what's ruminating inside of your spirit for us to focus on?
Yeah, I feel like this is where the targeting networking really, really will shine through and through. And when you have this is expert, right? You have the guest list, you know who's going to be there. So you get to do
Mm,
your research before you go in the building. And you have an in because it's a sponsored wine. So people are already interested in the product. It's not really selling the product, it's selling the ownership of the product, which is amazing.
mm.
This is an amazing setup for you to kill it in networking.
You
So really,
listening, business bestie?
yeah, thinking about like who do you want to make sure that you talk to? Who?
Yes.
And probably name about 2 to 3 people. Don't go for the whole room. The idea is not to work the room and shake everybody's hand and get everybody's information. The
That's
idea
what you
really,
always say.
yeah, it's to target somebody. Really, really do your homework. And when you are in the face of that person, don't fangirl. Like that, like don't start over complimenting and doing that thing. If you want to give compliments to somebody who is an affluence, tell them how they've impacted you. Give impact stories, how they've changed the way you think about your business, not your life, your business, because everything has to go back to your business, right? And so you want to give those type of compliments, and then share your place that you would be like. So if it's LinkedIn, offer to connect on a space that is very formal. I mean, semi-formal, like social space. Don't try to get phone numbers and addresses and all that stuff. Just try to make the connection so that you have some solid intel, that you have a way to get back in. So really say, oh my God, I follow you on LinkedIn. Even if you don't really, make sure you do before you go. This is why targeting is so important. So you can say, after, I don't know, who's going to be there that you're kind of like, I want to meet them. Give me a name.
Oh, I really want to meet the people of the decision makers at Sunbeam and Centauri. I believe that is the correct name. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And they are the makers of like Cavassier and 50 Cent's new champagne. Those that's who I really have my sights set on.
This is great. So we're gonna kind of role play with that idea. Okay, so you have your target. You want to meet the owners and decision makers of this very well known liqueur brand, right? It's very good. So first thing you want to do is you want to go on their website and you want to look at their message.
Mm-hmm.
Go in that about me page and start reading and jot down some notes. Get the adjectives, extract their vocabulary. That's what you need to do. Take out their words that they use to describe their business, because now you want to give them back their language. You want, when you're talking to them, you want to speak like them. You want to embody their talk. So you want to give
Yes.
back their language, and you want to give them the impact story. Like, how have they impacted your business? What changes have they made for you personally or professionally? It would be better if you can put that into a professional realm, because you want to make a business connection. So always bring it back to business and then offer that connection on this informal social network. Hell yeah, I would love to connect with you further on. Boom. Don't hang around. Don't be leechy. Walk away. Right? That's what we must do, because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get in that space and have people looking at you as if you are not supposed to be there. And when
Mm.
we what happens is we'll get into space with affluential people and we'll start to like leechy and linger and like kind of cozy like we'll give the mannerisms that, this is an uncomfortable space, we're not supposed to be here. But you want to walk away so they can respect you and give you the same kind of courtesy that they are deserving for themselves. You'll see when you walk away how people will now initially be attracted to you, and you will no longer have to do that introduction space. People will want to get to know you. Who was the girl who walked away from the conversation? You become the conversational piece. And that's what you want to do when you're dealing with people of affluence. You don't want them to believe that you're less than them, or you want to level that playing field. You want to
Yeah.
become an equal in this. And that's why we can't fangirl. We can't be like, oh, I love your liquor. Me and my husband, we drink Cavassier on our date nights. Ooh, 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 ooh. We can't do that. Right? We can't do that.
I love this. Talisha. Okay, well, I'm a fangirl for a moment, right quick. That was so good. That was so good. I know that all what you did was bring it all back home for me, because I've actually experienced all the advice you just gave us right now. I've actually experienced that and watched how the way I network has changed and shifted from when I first got started in 11 years ago. And the words that you were using, I like the way you speak. The word, when you speak, I like the way you use the words that you used. It really hits home for me. Like when you use that word extract and inject, I'm like, okay, yes, she's speaking my language. I can feel this. So that's my fangirl for a moment. But yes, okay. So making sure we do not fangirl out.
Yeah, you
And
fangirl in private, you boss up in public. That's how it works.
what? She's back there somewhere. What? I love that. You got to go mean that for yourself. Fangirl in private, boss up in public.
Yes.
She said yes. It's so good. Yes, it's so good. I'm loving that. Okay. So I'm so glad that you shared that reminder with us, because I may have gone in there and fangirled out a little bit on Felicia. On Felicia Rashad. I mean, maybe not everyone else, but on Felicia Rashad, I probably would have fangirled out a little bit. But I'm gonna hold my composure now because of this advice you've given. And the last thing I want to say in regards to this is, I truly, 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 now that I've experienced just that 5 minutes of your time, I truly, truly understand why uh, a business owner needs a Tollisha Joseph in their
Thank
life.
you. I
Because if
appreciate
you
that.
have a big opportunity coming up, or if you've invested in something, you don't want the opportunity to be wasted. And so you help people make sure that opportunities, for me, opportunities don't go wasted, that you're very strategic in how you are approaching people, how you're meeting people, how you're networking with people. The
Yes.
official clue.
Yeah, it requires this. I'll share
Yeah.
a little story really quick. I
Mhm.
was in LA and I had the same type of amazing experience to be in the room with Debbie Allen and Tyra Banks, Billy Porter, Angelica Ross,
Woo.
costume designers from Bridgington, right? All of these amazing people that and I did fangirl. I'm gonna tell you I did, but the guy, the Christian Isaac from Shameless, I love that show. I love that show. But my fangirl was a little different. I honestly, in that moment, I
Mhm.
earned his mother's respect because I respected her. I literally skipped over him. I just started
Mhm.
talking to his mom. And I was saying, as a mother, I want to commend you for allowing your son to do work like this, right? Because we see it and we're like, how do you allow your son to be a part of this project? Like it's so edgy and crazy. But I also talked to him and I'm like, you've raised an amazing child, as bringing it together and syncing it together as a mother of sons. I love what you're doing here. This is impactful work. You're saying that it's possible for you to still have a baseline on what your children think and how they're moving in this world, but still be creative. And that right there is honorable.
Yeah.
That is a good compliment,
Right.
right? So that's a
Yeah.
compliment that gets the phone number. Right? So,
Yeah.
these are the type of compliments that we need to create when we're
Mhm.
talking to people. The
Yeah.
impact statements, the statements that are going to make a difference in the way they see you. You don't want to show up at any event, even in the littlest BNI networking event. You don't want to show up at any event where people are thinking like about her, right? You want people to be like, she was so impactful wherever you are. So it
Mhm.
really does require a strategy because we go into situations and we're ill informed. That's number one. We don't do our research. We don't look
Yeah.
up the people. We have not enough information. We go with a one sided perspective. All the things that we saw on social media and
Yeah.
all the things that we like, Felicia Rashad, it's like, hey, Miss Huxtable. But she has a whole body of work. And I would literally take the one that is the least recognized and use that as my ammo, my in, right? I would literally do my research and dig for that kind of content so I can
Mhm.
amplify it and make it a
Yeah.
bigger deal to help me get in with her and have a deeper conversation about that body of work and the impact that it made. Now, this low thing that she's created that didn't get as much recognition as the Cosby Show, that really makes you different. Why? Because everybody's going to come up and say, Miss Huxtable. But you'll be the one person in that room who did your research and is showing her something about one, you are really invested in her body of work, which is flattery. And two, that it's impacted you, which is another form of flattery. So you're winning.
This is so good. Ooh, this is so good. I can't wait to play this back for people because you really are dropping mad gems right now. Mad gems. Um, it makes me think of, we put a tribute ad in the magazine for the event. And so I was thinking in that exact perspective you just gave, and they gave me a few samples of what some other people had done. And I was like, oh, these are boring. They don't do anything. Like, if she reads it, she might just flip over it. But instead, what I said is, oh, let me go find a quote that she's made that relates specifically to like who we are and what we do at K Marine Wines. And so, and it's Women's Month. So I went and found a quote by her talking about what happens when women come together, because this is a female owned and operated brand. And, I wanted to highlight that we are moving off of the path that you've opened up for us, that you've created. You walked before us so that we could come. I feel so emotional already. So that we could walk in that direction, but you went before us. And so just grateful for that, and grateful that I chose the quote that I chose, and grateful that I'm talking to you now. And I'm just gonna do all my fangirling out here on this live with you. But I digress. I do have a couple more questions for you. They are
Absolutely.
our
You
manifester.
and sister was amazing, by the way. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that before you move on, because I was in the room with Debbie Allen, and
Mhm.
I didn't even say hello to her. Honestly, I didn't speak to her. She spoke to me, which was way different, right? She was
Mhm.
like, yeah, she something like very minute and really like, yeah, but it was wonderful to be noticed, right, by Debbie Allen, fangirl. Oh my God, fame and all the amazing things that she's done in her career. It's like there's so many people here. There's media. There's hustle and bustle. There's cameras everywhere, and she complimented me, and I was just a pawn in the sea, right? But I think the thing that caught her attention was, one, I showed up as a boss,
Mm.
and I earned her respect. And so even in that moment, it was like she respected me enough to mention it. And I feel good about that. So I feel like this is possible for
Yeah,
anybody to do. And we think in these class levels, but we're all level. We're all equal. The thing that divides us in class is how we show up. Are we showing up with class?
right.
So we need to show up as bosses, because they're bosses too. And we
Yeah,
need to show them, hey, we're bosses. We're doing this thing. And we're gonna get to your status soon. You're gonna help me.
I love that. Oh God. So we have a few manifest her questions that I always like to ask. And the first one is, when you hear the word manifesting, what do you think it is?
I really believe that to manifest things is just bringing things to you. It's bringing that energy and making that current flow in your direction. So that's what I think manifesting is.
Okay. And my favorite questions are coming now. um, One is, what do you believe you will achieve this year? And how do you believe you'll get there?
Hmm. One thing that I believe that I will achieve this year, and it's already in motion, is my goal is to have 4 speaking engagements, one per quarter, $5,000 plus per quarter paid, and I'm already in motion. So I just got to keep going. And I think me doing stuff like this and really making myself visible and sharing my wealth of knowledge with others is going to get me there faster.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that goal and that vision with us. That's powerful.
And I think
Um,
knowing the specifics, honestly, I think knowing exactly with clarity what it is that I'm seeking after really puts me in a position to know what steps I need to take to get there. So I'm not wasting time taking advantage of opportunities that are not pointed in that direction.
yeah.
So it's really being purposeful by having the clarity that's going to get me there.
A lot of the clients that I've worked with in the past, and that I work with now, one of the first things that they think is, they think they are the only ones that are feeling fear. They think that they are the only ones who are afraid or might be having doubtful thoughts, or any of that stuff, right? And it's comparing themselves to others in their neighborhood, in their office building, on social media. What fears come up for you around this goal? And when they come up, how do you overcome them? Because I know you're overcoming them because you're still moving. But how do you overcome your fears?
I've learned not to live fearfully.
Mm.
So my only fear in life is that I'll disappoint myself. And so, I mean, as far as this business thing is concerned, like the only fear I have is that I set a goal and I'm going to be a disappointment to me. You know, I know what I'm capable of. I understand what I can do. And
Yeah.
so there is no boundaries between me and what I can get or what I can achieve or my successes. The only thing that's stopping me from producing is me. And so the fear is letting myself down. And um I choose not to believe that I'm a disappointment to me because I
Mm.
love me. I do. I love who I am. I am so, I just had a conversation earlier today about confidence, and I'm like, I'm not humble. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not going to be. I love myself. I love how I can create. I love how I can manifest. I love all these things about me. And I
Do
can
you know that that's one of my words? Do you know that that's one of my phrases? Unhumble your genius.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I feel like, humble and confidence is an oxymoron. They're like oil and water. They don't really mix well together. You can't be humble and have exude all this confidence, you know? I am a confident woman and I own it. I own it proudly. I am prideful in my confidence, and I know that my confidence is going to take me exactly where I want to be as long as I stay true to that. So the only fear I have is disappointing myself. And that is allowing other people to interject doubt into my mind about me. So if I allow that to happen, then I will disappoint myself because it'll stop me. And I can't be stopped because I'm not humbling myself. I'm not allowing other people to stop my progress. I'm moving. That's what I'm doing. I'm moving to the things that I want to get done.
The first day I met you, like we had been doing the whole Instagram thing, but the first day I met you and you opened up your mouth to speak at the content creation and conversations event in February, I was like, there's something about her that reminds me of me. That's it. It's that part.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's not the best, it's not the most favorable quality. People are
Mm,
afraid of this. They are fearful of this. And
mm,
I'm okay with you being afraid of my power. I am.
mm.
That is your problem, not mine. Right? I'm
Ooh.
not afraid of it. I'm comfortable in it. So, yes. Only fear I have is me.
What do you believe or know for sure about money?
I believe and know for sure about money that money is the last part of my conversations because it is a resource. It
Mm,
is not the end all be all. It is easily made and easily spent. And I believe that with all the things in me because every time that I lack the green, I find it. It
mm,
falls. I was at dinner with a friend one day and I was like, I could have somebody pay for my dinner right now. Somebody that I don't even know. I can will that into my sphere. Like the will of power is all mine. I can do that. And I know that money is a resourceful tool. And if I think of it as my end all be all, I will always be broke.
mm. Yeah, that's so good because as we were coming over on the plane, I just was having these thoughts where sometimes I had to pause the movie, stop the movie because I just became uh my spirit became engulfed, like drowning in how wondrous we are, right? And I started thinking about when we first took off on the plane, the thoughts that were coming was, God, we are so amazing that we made a plane. Like, that was the thought I was thinking first. I think that thought every time I get on a plane. I'm like, We are so amazing that we made planes. Like we looked at the birds and was like, I want to do that. And then figured out the way to do it. Then when we started coming over California and the mountains were there, I was like, oh, these mountains are so beautiful. And I just felt magnetized to my own power, like remembering that this same power and beauty and phenomenon that I'm looking at, that the earth erupted in the way that it did to create these mountains, and that this same power and energy is flowing through me and as me and working for me. There's nothing I can't do. I
Yeah.
cannot be stopped. And I was thinking to myself how sometimes we become so unpresent, as we talked about earlier with you. We become so unpresent in forgetting, and I know Wilda would love this, my business astrologer, that we live on a planet called Earth. Like we live on a planet that is constantly moving and rotating, and we don't fall, we don't drop, we don't die. Like the planet is constantly moving and in rotation. And I was also looking at this plane where I'm looking down at the clouds and the mountains and all of these things. And I'm looking and I'm saying, it looks like I'm moving so slow, but I know this plane is moving super fast, but it looks like it's so slow. And then it was when we hit the ground, all of it, I was like, we were really going really fast, but it's not until we hit the ground that you realize how fast you were going. So all of these thoughts I'm having as we're on the plane, and I'm just like, yo, this is wild. Like we are we are powerful, and it's those moments when we become present to those moments once again, that's when it's like, oh boy, you better watch out. Quadera about to come through your city.
Yeah, I love that energy. So I have a course that I teach, right? It's called the Circle of Care, and there's a segment in this course where we go through the networking cycle. And in this part of the cycle always blows people's mind. So I have a image of a seesaw. Like, no, don't kid's toy, the seesaw. So on a seesaw, you have your ideas, your money, and your people. And what blows people's mind is that they always put the money in the heavy spot, like the spot that's going to hold everything up. But on this seesaw, the ideas are on the heavy spot, right?
Mm,
And the idea of networking is really, it's a tool that we can use to level out our ideas and our money. Because if we're rich in ideas, we will always stay rich in money. Always, right? And the people in between are the conduit between our money and our ideas. So we either sell our ideas to people, we transfer our ideas through people that then produces money. So that's that residual income where we partner up
mm,
with people and we share the profits, residual income, or we sell, or we have people invest in our ideas, which they exchange their riches, their wealth through someone to make us a little richer and more wealthy. So the idea of networking is the equalizer of the money and the ideas. We have to stop thinking about money as this heavyweight in the game.
mm,
It's not. Money is not the heavyweight champion of the world. Ideas
mm,
are. Ideas are your heavyweight champion because you will never lack if you have ideas. If you're a thinking, breathing human, you will never lack creativity. You will always have the ability to create new ideas, and what you do with those ideas determine if you will be wealthy in the assets of money. It
mm.
will determine that. So, how good are you at converting ideas? Like,
Yeah,
are you great at that? Because if you are, then you are rich. You are rich.
How good at you at converting your ideas. Tanya's not in the room, but that is the description of my wonderful business partner. Yeah, she's great at converting ideas.
But you see what happened there, right?
Yeah.
Conduits, right? So she is wonderful at converting ideas. You are great at manifesting them and making them a reality, probably creating the plan for the conversion. So
Yeah.
she's a creation. You are the
Right.
planner in the
Mhm.
conversion process. You are the conduit to her money, period.
Mm.
So that is how this relationship works. And and
I'm
we
having too
are
much fun.
in networking, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for connections. We're looking for conduits. We're
Mm.
looking for people who are the connection to the next thing that we want. Are we looking for more ideas? Are we looking for more money? We're looking
Yeah.
for the people in between who could connect us to the things that we want. So when I hear this idea of like, you can't go into networking asking for things, why the hell not? Why not? You're supposed to. Like
Yeah, I didn't know.
networking, I say this all the time. Networking is the most selfish activity you can do. It is the only space in the world where you are in 100% control of what is around you, who's
Right.
around you, how they are working around you. You get to hand select your people. You get to literally pick them up and drop them in. It's so
Yeah.
fun, it's productive, it's effective, it moves your creativity to another level, and it frees you up to be creative, to always stay in high demand on ideas. it's
Yeah.
it's amazing work. I love it.
I love the way you teach. I could talk to you forever, but we're not going to. I have some manifester rapid fire questions for you
Yeah.
that are never rapid fire, but um, and so we're just going to move in. One is you're going to tell me what you think about it. Quantity or quality, and what does that look like for you?
Quality. And
Quality.
quality looks like someone or something that is worth my time, energy, and effort. Quality.
Meditation or prayer?
Hmm. Probably prayer. Um, but I feel like I'm indecisive there because I feel like prayer is a form of meditation. And meditation or prayer can happen all day. It doesn't have to be the solitary space. It doesn't have to happen here or there. It can
Right.
happen everywhere. So I flip a coin on that one.
That's all. That I actually have never told anybody this before, but that's actually a trick question. I just want to hear what people are going to
Yeah.
say. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Read books or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
General admission or VIP?
VIP. I'm I'm
Virtual.
I'm gonna tap into my inventing Anna. Yes,
Oh,
VIP. Say.
VIP. Of course.
Yes, exactly.
Virtual or face to face?
I'm actually finding a love for both. But I think ideally I prefer face to face, but I kind of enjoy the virtual thing. I feel like I'm going around the world in a minute, so it's fun.
Okay, and home cooked food or 5-star restaurant food?
Home cooked.
Home cooked.
I need seasoning.
I like that answer. Not too many people give that answer. It
I
always
want some
shocks me.
seasoning, and 5-star restaurants, as much as they look great, they don't taste great all the time. So
Right.
they lack seasoning. I need seasoning.
Last question of the hour for you is do it yourself coaches and do it yourself course or coaches and consultants?
Coaches and consultants. Yeah.
Yes. And why? Tell me why.
Um, I believe people need like that quality instruction. They need it. You can't. It's not a plug and play. And you know, And this is why, going back to the question of quantity or quality, I think quality lies in sitting next to someone and taking them through the process, opposed to giving them a manual and say, figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm all about, like, let's go through your problem. Let me hear what that problem is. And here we are in the industry that we're in the coaching and consulting industry. We are familiar with people coming to us with one idea that they believe is their problem. And then 30 minutes in the conversation, we realize that that is not your problem. How would we know
Right.
that if we did a DIY situation? We wouldn't know.
You wouldn't.
So, are we really here to fix people's problems and help them get to the next level? Or are we here to earn quick mailbox money? I'm here for solutions.
Mhm.
I'm not here to earn mailbox money. Like, here we
Yeah.
are, manifest her, money ends up in my mailbox every day, right?
Mhm.
So it's more important for me to spend the time and get to your root issues so we can fix it and you can move the heck on and do
Yeah.
some amazing things in your life.
Yeah. That's why I love, like, okay, I get it. We're in the age of courses, but I love the courses that come with a coach or consultant.
Yeah.
Those that makes for the best mashup. Last thing we like to do on the Manifest Her Media podcast and lives is we like to have our guests look into the camera. I'm going to remove myself from the camera, and you're going to look into the camera and you're going to speak directly to the hearts of every woman, every Manifest Her watching. And you're going to tell her, "Dear woman, I am Tollisha Joseph, and I want you to know more than anything else." And you're going to tell us what you want her, tell her what you want her to know more than anything else.
Awesome.
Ready?
Hello, I am Tollisha Joseph, and I want you to know more than anything else that you don't have to humble yourself. Be courageous, be bold, and go out there and do business like a boss because you deserve it.
That was phenomenal. Perfect messaging, Talisha. How do we keep your work moving? Where do we find you? I believe every business owner needs you. So tell us how we can find you.
I love that. So you can find me here on LinkedIn, Tollisha Joseph. Honestly, I learn something every day. So I want to tell you what I learned from you today. I learned from you that we also need to meditate in the moments of life. Like, your story about the plane was one that was like, I get on the plane, I sit in my seat, I look out the window, and I let that moment kind of pass me by. I don't really suck it up and enjoy it. So I think sometimes we need to stop and suck up these moments and enjoy them. So I learned that from you today. And I want also, you guys can connect with me through my name. My mother gave me this name and I hated it for a long time. You guys, I was like, oh, if I could have any other name. And I found peace and joy in this name right now because everybody can find me just by typing it in. I'm probably the only one. But if you don't want to do that, you can also type in the name of my business, which is The Offcial Glue. So you can type that in anywhere and you will find me. I pride myself on being a responder. So if you do message me, I will message you back.
And we do have it right there, the spelling of her name and how you can find her handle on some other social media platforms at the Official Glue. And Talisha, I just want to thank you. Thank you for being flexible with me today, and for gracing us with all of the, what I'm going to call, money making strategies that you did, that you shared. I pray that everyone watching took notes, watch it over and over, leave some comments, send her a private message or a LinkedIn connection, and let's help each other grow. And we can grow by, you know, networking better, So thank you all for
Absolutely.
joining us today. Thank you for joining me, Talisha. And we will see you all again soon, maybe
Have fun in
on the red
LA.
carpet. All right. Bye bye.